On this episode of Game Shack, we're not even 1 week into year 2022, and we've already gotten big announcements from iArcade and Arcade1Up. I'm going to let you know what those announcements are and what those announcements mean both for the industry as a whole and for those two companies moving forward. Coming up next. Hey everybody, it's JDV here for EvilGeniusEntertainment.com. Thank you for stopping by the Game Shack, the world's smallest arcade. All right, it's been a couple of weeks since I made an episode. I took a couple of weeks off for Christmas break. Thank you for rejoining the channel. Hope you dig the content. So we're not even 1 week into 2022, and we've had a bunch of new announcements from Arcade1Up and iArcade. Let's talk a little bit about iArcade, who has essentially rendered these first Gen 1 machines obsolete because the Gen 2 machine has been announced, and it's a much taller, cooler looking machine that has a lit marquee and some other little refinements. Most importantly, the guts of the machine, the CPU, is now not in the control deck, but behind the screen. And what that means is that moving forward, if iArcade wants to have a new control panel, say that has a flight stick or a steering wheel, that you'll be able to drop in that control panel and have it work with Gen 2 machines. Now, I'm just supposing this happens, but I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. But what we don't know is either A, how much is this new cab going to cost, or B, will we be able to drop in those new control panels into Gen 1 machines? I don't think we're going to be able to, and that's going to cause some hard feelings. Now, the million-dollar question is, will this new Gen 2 cab be enough to save iArcade? And yeah, I did use the word save because I don't think a company that sells cabinets at $300 just to get them out to put out their brand new Gen 2 game, even though their other game has only been out for a year, I don't think that that company is doing too well. They really haven't had the killer app yet. Unless you are just a complete die-hard Space Ace or Dragon's Lair fan, there's really not a compelling reason to get into the system. Dead Cells maybe, and coincidentally that is the skin they're going to be using on the first Gen 2 cab. But there really hasn't been anything else. Still no Street Fighter, still no Mortal Kombat, still no Pac-Man, Galaga, the list goes on of the games they don't have. And again, a lot of the games that are on this system are already on the ALU, and a lot more, and they're on there for free. So I'm still not sure that there's a raison d'etre for this product in the market niche. But hey, that new lit marquee looks really good. The taller form factor looks really good. Really, it's the cabinet that should have come out in the first place. And I think that's really, if iArcade does end up going out of business, that is going to be the primary reason, is that this initial design of the cab is very, I mean, I'll tell you right now, I will take that Space Invaders cab over this any day of the week, just in terms of aesthetics. Even the ALU to me looks better than this, even when it's skinned. So hopefully people will be interested in this new cab, but of course pricing is going to be a big part of it, and I really would have a hard time believing that they're going to sell Gen 2 machines for any less than $600, and probably going to be more like $700 or $800. I don't know that they can make a dent into this industry with a pricing at that point. If they could somehow get that pricing down to $500, then maybe we're talking something there. That would really be helped a lot if they ever do announce a true new A-list game. I wish them the best of luck. But the real big news so far at CES 2022 comes from, no surprise, Arcade1Up, who announced 3 new Gen 2 Legacy cabs in the form of the Pac-Man/Namco, the Atari/Tempest cab, which I think is now branded as a Centipede cab, and they have a new Mortal Kombat cab, all of which have Wi-Fi capacity. And I think the wings are off of that on the Mortal Kombat deck, which was just amazingly dumb. It's a little bit like the iArcade Gen 1, those Legacy Gen 1 cabs from A1Up, and that they were just dumb right from the get. Everybody knew they were dumb. Like, why do you have raised edges? Why have you made already too small control deck even smaller on a two-player game. Why would you do that? Why don't we have any Wi-Fi? Well, now we know that all of the new Gen 2 legacy cabs will have that stuff. Now, unfortunately, none of them have the 6-inch height razors that we see on Big Blue, and that's a big disappointment to me. Again, if you kind of equally like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, what cab are you going to get? I mean, you're going to get Street Fighter. I mean, you just are. Why wouldn't you? I mean, it has everything else, but it's also taller. So it is a disappointment to me that those new legacy cabs are not taller, but again, it's nice to see that those changes have been made. And just like the iArcade, it remains to be seen if previous owners of those legacy cabs are going to bear any ill will towards A1UP, because they sold a lot of those cabs, and right now a lot of those people are, going to be upset, I think, that not even 6 months later we're seeing vastly better, different product come out from A1UP. And also, let's be real, I just did an episode on this, it's going to murder the resale value on any legacy cab. I mean, right now, why would you buy a legacy cab for any more than $150 or $200 when you know that there's something better coming down the line? I don't know if that will really hit prices that hard, and I don't know if there's going to be that much negative feedback towards A1UP for these new legacy cabs, but the potential is there. It's interesting that they don't have the 4th legacy cab in terms of Street Fighter, because I guess essentially they're just saying that Big Blue is the new legacy cab, even though they're not going to say it is. One other note about those legacy cabs, that they now have 14 games on them. Clax, I think, is going to be on the Mortal Kombat game, and it's something else I forget, Rolling Thunder maybe. So that's a good thing, and I predicted last summer that they would be moving ever closer to 20 games, and some people are like, oh, they're never going to do that. Yeah, they are. They're going to get to 20 games at some point too, with maybe Gen 3, because they have to, because they just have only so many titles that they have the rights to, and they do have to kind of recycling that. I'll say one thing right off the bat, it's a little disappointing maybe that they did not have the Defender layout in that Mortal Kombat cab, or that it seems like Defender is going to get shorted again in terms of having a native control deck, but that remains to be seen. But even bigger news came from Arcade1Up, and that is that yes, the Pro line is real, and the 2 games that I know of so far are going to be Killer Instinct Pro line and the Golden Tee. A Golden Tee makes all kind of sense, because it's been a while since that game has been released, and a lot of people love that game. A lot of people, that would be the one game that they would own, so that makes sense to me. It makes a whole heck of a lot less sense that you have a Killer Instinct version when you haven't even gotten the Gen 1 Killer Instinct on shelves yet. That is a really strange thing, and again, shows a little short-sightedness, I think, on the part of Arcade1Up. But then again, we don't know the pricing for any of these cabs. We don't know what the pricing is going to be for the legacy cabs, Gen 2, and we don't know what the Pro line is going to cost. I suspect that the legacy 2.0 cabs are going to be around $500, maybe $550, something very similar to the class of 81. And in terms of the legacy cabs, well, we know they're going to be at least as much as Tron, and that was $700. Now, to be fair, there are a lot of sweet upgrades on the Pro line. You get better sound, I guess. Well, who knows? You get the better controllers, which people have been screaming for. You get the bigger 19-inch 5:4 aspect ratio screen, something that I've been hollering about for a year now, something that absolutely is needed for all 2-player games, 4-player games, and horizontal side-scrolling beat-em-ups. You just need to have a bigger screen. The shooting games need to have the bigger screen, so hopefully we're going to see a House of the Dead or something like that using that same screen. You get the printed 3D molded doors now that have LED lighting. I really do wish they were working coin doors. It's supposed to be a pro machine, right? Why can't we have actual metal doors that work, or even have them be plastic, hard plastic, but still you put a quarter in and you get a credit? That would have been super sweet, but I guess the chrome T-molding is going to have to do. And maybe most interestingly of all, besides the screen and controllers, is the fact that there's no more riser on these Pro lines. It's going to be all one piece, another indication that they're moving away from the Walmart type business model and moving more now into the purely niche, almost pinball fan type marketplace. What is going to be the impact of these legacy cabs and the Proline cabs, particularly for the people who just put down money for the Killer Instinct Gen 1 cab? I don't know. It's also being said that I just read that they're going to be putting out a fourth pinball game, that Zen, whatever difficulty they had with them, that's been patched over. So we're going to see probably at least 1 or 2 more pinball games announced from Arcade1Up this year. I'd be very interested to see if they put in a better CPU into that game, because obviously those first 3 pinball games that they put out had real problems in terms of their graphic fidelity and some other things. So it's going to be a very interesting year from Arcade1Up. I don't know if it's enough from iArcade to help stave off the wolves, so to speak. And I don't know. I've got this sneaking feeling that this whole market's getting ready to go, ugh. You know, I don't know that there's going to be that many people willing to spend $1,000 or $800 on a Proline cab, but please let me know what you think about all of these cabinets down below. And if you like this sort of content, please give me a thumbs up when you leave, because it really does help this channel keep going. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so. We're really trying to up our subscriber count, just because, you know, why the heck not? Hope you had a great Christmas and New Year, and hope this New Year is treating you right. Love each other, and until next time, I'm going to see you guys in the Game Shack. Mwah!
Be sure to visit evilgeniusentertainment.com for exclusive content, swag, casting call news, and much, much more.